thank you for joining us for this great briefing with the next crew headed to the International Space Station. I'm joined by astronaut Mike Hopkins, cosmonaut Oleg Kotov, and fellow cosmonaut Sergei Rosinski. So thank you all for joining us. You guys are preparing for your launch to the space station just a couple months from now. You're going to launch on September 25th for a one-day trip to the space station. Very nice. And there you're going to join astronaut Karen Nyberg, Chris Cassidy, and Fyodor Yurchikhin, who are already on orbit and working.
Luca Parmitano.
Sorry. You'll begin your long-duration mission doing a lot of science experiments yourselves. And so with that, Mike, this is going to be your first mission, likewise for Sergei. Can you tell us, just start by telling us what you're doing and what it's like preparing for this first mission?
Yeah, so the training flow for going up into space on the expeditions on the International Space Station is a 2.5-year training flow. And so it's been a long 2.5 years, but it's also been a fast 2.5 years, if that makes any sense. Fortunately, we've been doing this training cruise to go to the space station now for over 10 years, and so they've really fine-tuned that process. And also I'm very fortunate because I backed up Chris Cassidy, who was a very experienced space flyer, and I have Steve Swanson is backing me up as well as an experienced guy. He's flown twice on the shuttle, and then of course my commander Oleg Kotov. So having those folks around you as you're going through this training flow has just been fantastic, because they're always able to give you those little bit of nuggets that oftentimes you don't hear in the classroom, and so that's made it very enjoyable.
Gotcha. Sergei, anything else you want to add on that?
I think that training as a cosmonaut is the most fun thing that person can do in his life.
I think most of us agree here. So with that, we've got a room full of folks here anxious to talk with you. So we're going to go ahead and start with some questions here. So if you'll just raise your hand, state your name and affiliation if you're with a media organization, and we'll try to get to as many of you as we can. Go ahead.
Okay, Jim Oberg with NBC News. I want to ask the two, currently two rookies. I want to ask the two new flyers, what kinds of secrets of space adaptation and long space flight have you learned from your experience, Commander? When in the dark or at the bar afterwards, what kinds of secrets has he shared with you to make your first flights easier?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and start off on that. I think one of the secrets that you learn is that it's different for everybody, and you're not really sure how you're going to react once you get up into space. And so I think we're going to be a little bit of wait and see. There are a few little nuggets here and there, but for the most part, I think it's really going to depend on the individual.
Maybe the main secret is to be calm and patient. So this is how most people deal with all this stress to be first-time flyer. This is how they adapt themselves to specific environment. So looking forward to this fun.
Thank you.
Okay, next, go ahead. Oh, and wait for the microphone, please.
Hi, Robert Perlman with CollectSpace.com. I'm wondering how real-time events in space affect your training at this point. For example, yesterday's spacewalk and it's being curtailed. Will that have, or has that already had any impact in terms of planning for your own stay in space?
Yeah, so yesterday obviously was a very exciting day for the folks up on space station and the folks here on the ground. I think the big thing from yesterday is that everybody is back inside and safe, and the station's in a safe configuration and work's ongoing. I will say at this point, the issues that they did have yesterday with the EMU, troubleshooting is ongoing. We still don't know what happened, and so in terms of how that's going to impact our flight, we still don't know. But I'll also say that we're all trained to do any and all missions that we might have up there, and so we'll wait and see, and I think we're ready for whatever might get thrown our way.
Okay. Should be just a minute.
Hi, I'm Celine Barber from Mike's hometown, Gatehouse Media, and a magazine that's regional and national. What lessons have you learned from the lake that you're taking up in space, or for your hometowns also that you're taking up to this particular mission?
So, what lessons have we learned from growing up? Yeah, so I grew up where we're from is a small community in Missouri, And I think there's a lot of benefits from growing up in that small community because you do tend to know a lot of people and you have this very close-knit feeling. And we're obviously going to be a close-knit group up there as well with just 6 of us on board. So I think that sense of community, sharing with each other, helping each other out, I think that's all important, and those are things that I learned where I grew up.
I grew up in capital of Russia, Moscow. Is something really similar to New York, really crazy and crowded. And also it gives really lots of possibilities for small kids to learn, to study, where to go. And so maybe this is the main experience that I'm always looking for something new, something with great approaches, with a really new thing for myself. So.
And Oleg, did you want to mention anything?
You know, I'm from the military family, so I grew up in many cities and towns. So, but I get used just enjoying the looking for the window, and so that's the best opportunity is to do it from the border station.
I'm Nolan Peterson with Runner's World and EIC TV. And can you explain how some of the techniques that you use in space to slow down the decline of the body could be used for people back on Earth to maybe slow the aging process or rehab an injury?
I guess I'll start with that. So, yeah, you're right. When we are in space, we do have some negative effects of that zero gravity environment. So our muscles will get weaker, we can have bone loss. And so the ways that we try and counteract that, one of the main ways is through exercise. And so we actually get quite a bit of time every day to exercise. And we have 3 main pieces of hardware that we use during that exercise. The first is ARAD, which is an adaptive resistive exercise device. That's basically our squat rack. And it looks a little bit different, but in the end, the way we're able to do lifts, very similar to what we do here on Earth, squats, deadlifts, bench press, things like that, we're able to do with it. So that helps us with the strength piece. And then we also have a treadmill that we use, and we also have a exercise bike. And so both of those as well, we'll have, we can change the loads, change the speeds on those, so we can not only exercise our muscles, but our heart and our lungs as well.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Carla Sanchez. I'm a personal trainer and metabolic nutritionist from Denver, Colorado. My question is, what type of specific nutritional and or supplemental strategies do you use preparing for flight and then in flight? For example, whey protein, creatine, other supplements, calcium, vitamin D.
Yeah, it's a great question. We're very fortunate here at NASA. We have a food lab where they focus obviously on our diet, and we have an incredible menu up there, actually a wide variety menu that doesn't repeat itself till every 8-9 days or so. And so we have a lot of different types of food that we're able to enjoy up there. And then we also have some experiments that we're doing that are focused on our nutrition and how we might be able to use that for countermeasures. So, for example, there's a Pro-K experiment where we're looking at the ratios of animal proteins to potassiums, because there's indications that that ratio could impact our bone loss. And so by doing something as simple as our nutrition and what we eat, we might be able to counteract some of these negative effects and all that. And there's some benefits to that on Earth as well, right? Because if we can just change our nutrition as we get older, we might also be able to counteract some of those same impacts.
Okay, any other questions? I'm looking good.
During the social media, we were just told live that you were launching a Train Like Mike hashtag. Would you like to elaborate on that Twitter possibility
Sure.
that all the nation and the world can also interact with and become more physically fit?
Yeah, so the Train Like an Astronaut program is one that's been ongoing now for several years, and the focus of that program is to encourage kids to get out and exercise, increase their fitness. And so fitness has been a very big part of my life growing up and even now. And so I'm kind of joining along with that, looking forward to participating with it and actually inviting people to join me in the last few months of my time on Earth before we launch, and then once I'm on board as well. So hopefully we can follow along with my exercise program, what I'm doing on board with some video clips and things like that, and then also when I land and seeing what happens to us once we get back down on Earth. So we're trying to combine those two things, and very excited to help promote that and hopefully show my passion for fitness to everybody around the world, hopefully get them excited about it, and at the same time get them excited about space.
Okay, I think we have another question down here.
Hi, I'm Leah Crane, no affiliation, and a very general question. I'm wondering what you would say was your most important step towards getting here and getting to space.
I'll let you take that. You wanna take that one? They're good?
I think they all should
I
answer
still
this
haven't
one.
decided what is the main step, because every step is very important. When you step or first time to be a cosmonaut or astronaut, it is very important milestone in your life. When you assigned to the in crew, it's also very important, and it's a very big responsibility. And again, of course, our next milestone is going to be our launch at the end of September, and we're really expecting to have a very nice and smooth mission out there. So that's my opinion about this question. Okay.
All right, Sergey, you want to add anything?
I think that everything that we're doing in our lives is small milestone. Like I really respect some of my teachers that gave me some direction forward, some push, and also they opened me science field. That's why I dreamed to become a scientist. They described how great is space industry, and that is every new technology is coming from this frontier. So I was really proud to start doing science in space industry. So all these small steps are really important.
Okay, and I think we have one more question over here. Tarek?
Thank you. Tarek Malik with Space.com. I think I have one for Mike and one for Sergey. Mike, you're the first of the 09 class to fly in space. I'm wondering if there's a lot of envy going along with your classmates, or if they're all giving you, Monday quarterback tips for it. And for Sergey, I'm curious how your experience with the Mars simulation mission has prepared you for the flight. Thanks.
Okay. So my class of 14, there was 14 of us in the class of 2009, and they have all been absolutely fantastic, very supportive. I think everybody that's not assigned wants to be assigned. Everybody that's is watching somebody else launch, whether it's my class or any of the other astronauts, are wishing they were in that seat as well, because that's what we do, that's what we love to do, and so I think we all would probably soon after we landed want to be launching again. As far as the class go, somebody has to be first. I was fortunate enough to get picked to be the first one. That doesn't that only means I'm the first. It doesn't mean I'm the best or I won't be the last in the class. And so I can't wait to see the rest of my classmates sitting here going through their press conference before they're launching.
Okay, and Sergey?
The Mars project is something different from what we will have on ISS. Mars project is mainly psychological. It's extreme isolation from normal life. But maybe the most important thing that I got there is how hard is being commander. To have all this responsibility for the crew, to work as high manager, psychologist, teacher, and many other specialties. So that's why I really understand hard work of my commander after that experiment.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break here and switch over to Kennedy Space Center, where I believe we have at least one reporter with a question.
Dan Billow from WESH-TV. Kind of a two-part question here. Forgive me if you've addressed the first part, but would you talk a little bit about any EVAs that you have scheduled on the expedition, if any, and tell me how closely you'll be following, how concerned are you about the investigation into what happened yesterday?
So from the U.S. side of the house, currently we don't have any planned EVAs during my increments, expeditions 37 and 38. I'll let Oleg address from the Russian side of the house. As far as the investigation is concerned, you're certainly concerned about what happened yesterday, but again, I did mention earlier, the key is that the teams, both on board and on the ground, reacted very quickly, appropriately, and we're able to get everybody in safe. And I have all the confidence in the world that whatever caused the issues yesterday, they're going to find out, and before they send anybody else out the door, at least from the USOS side, that they'll have that solved, and I'm confident then that we can do it safely.
And again, from the Russian side, we currently are scheduled to perform 7 EVAs, mostly related on the new Russian research module arriving. So all of these EVAs are pointed to adaptation to the new module to the station. So far, we're still planning to do that.
Okay, with that, we're going to switch to a couple other phone-in callers. We have Lanre Alabi, sorry if I mispronounced that, with Daily Nightline.
It's Lanre Alabi with the Daily Illini, Mike's undergrad, and I was wondering, first question is more personal for Mike. As a former player, do you want to venture any, I guess, predictions for the football season this year for the Illini? And the second part of the question is for the other, for Sergey and Oleg, who have been out of space. What do you think is the biggest, I guess, what do you miss the most when you are there?
Okay, good question.
Yeah, so yeah, obviously the Illini, University of Illinois and the Illini are very dear to me. I had the fortune of playing football there for 4 years, and so I'm very excited about the upcoming season. It'll be Coach Beckman's second season, and so as far as predictions, I think we're going to see a winning season and hopefully a bowl game, and so I expect very good things out of the Illini.
Okay, and our next caller is Kimberly Schofield with W.
The other question?
Yes, my apologies.
Okay. Maybe we will miss the most important and usual things, our families, our friends, and spending time with them. So we're not really different from normal people that are missing the usual normal things.
Okay, I feel better about this point because I exactly know what I missed. Okay. Again, of course, it's our lovers, but it's most important for us. No? But also, I really will miss the bath and steak. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, our next caller again, Kimberly Schofield with WDWS Radio.
Yes, my question is also for Mike. I'm in Champaign, Illinois, and I was wondering, my first question is, how does it feel to be one of the first from the graduating class of 2009 to be going into space?
Yeah, so it feels amazing, but in many respects, sometimes it doesn't seem real too. You know, you spend all this time training, and every day there's a new class, there's a new trainer that you have to go through, or simulation that you go through, and sometimes it's easy to lose sight that at the end of this you're actually going to be up in space. And so I know for someone that's been there before, he has a good sense of what it's going to feel like. But again, for me, sometimes it's a little hard to imagine. And so I expect the reality will hit about the time the countdown hits 0 and the rocket lights, and we start to go.
Okay, and
how did your time at the University of Illinois affect what you are doing today?
I'm sorry, did you? I didn't.
Repeat that, please.
Did I miss the question? I'm sorry.
I've asked, how did your time at the University of Illinois impact what you are doing today?
Yeah, so how did my time in Illinois impact what I'm doing today? Well, the first thing I'm going to say that had a huge impact is I met my wife there. And so she has been a huge part of this adventure that we've been on. And so I'd say that's probably first and foremost the biggest impact that I've had from Illinois. And then second is, as Sergey was kind of alluding to earlier, I mean, everything that we've gone through and done has had an impact as to why we're here or what's given us the opportunity to be here today. And Illinois is certainly no different from that. I learned an amazing amount just from not only the school aspects of things and as part of the AeroAstro program, but also from being on the football team, from being a part of ROTC and being in a fraternity. And so you make lifelong friendships. You learn how to be a part of a team and of a community, and so all of that has just had huge impacts on my opportunity to be here.
Okay, we've had folks following along with this online and been accepting some questions via Twitter, so I think Amiko has a couple questions for us. Go ahead.
So we have a few questions on social media. As Nicole mentioned, not everybody could attend today's activities, but they are following along, and so we do have a few questions for you. The first one is, how much breathable air does the space station store, and how is it delivered and or created?
It's very difficult to count all air you can find on the stage, but usually the oxygen is produced on the station from the water. It's a chemical process, and also we need some air what will deliver it by the cargo vehicles. And also, you know, we need to remove CO2, so that's like in a close volume and to have the air.
Yeah, so we do have a couple of components on board Space Station, both down in the Russian segment and U.S. Segment, that both generate oxygen and get rid of the CO2 out of the systems. And so in some sense, we're self-generating. We generate what we need from an oxygen standpoint, from an air standpoint, and we also help clean that. But then occasionally the cargo vehicles, when they do come up, are able to bring up any extra that we may need that we're not able to generate ourselves.
Good deal. Thank you. So we have another question here, and hopefully this is not a curveball for you. We are talking about sports after all, right? So could the crew tell us about the new MLM and how important it will be in terms of the future of space station research?
MLM means multifunctional lab module. It's main science lab on the Russian segment. Many new, absolutely new science equipment is planned to come. Many new experiments are planned to be there. From science point of view, it's a really amazing lab, modern and interesting. So we're looking forward to have it on board. Hopefully it will be on our crew. If not, then it will be later. But it will be really great to see the science lab.
Let me to add a couple words, because also this module will provide extra power for our life support system, because we also will be a few life support system. For example, the same oxygen generator, another one for our Russian segment. That means for whole station. And also suppose you're going to be there the crew quarter, so for third Russian crew member. And it's another very important component is toilet there, WHC. So that's again, it's very important stuff for station. So that's really going to be a very huge improvement for Russian segment and also for whole station. Thank you.
Thank you. And we look forward to seeing that new addition to the space station. One last question from the verse. What types of biological experiments will be going on aboard the space station?
Yeah, so we do have a variety of biological experiments where you're looking at cells, you're looking at protein growth, you're looking at animals or plants. And so we do have some, like Gravi-2 is an experiment that we'll be doing that's looking at the impacts on acceleration on the root growth and how it impacts the direction of that root growth. There's a possibility that while we're up there, we could have some ants coming on board as well. So that could be very exciting to have some pets for a little while. So there's a wide range of biology experiments that are being executed.
Okay, great. And so just a quick reminder that people can still submit questions using the hashtag AskNASA, and we can weave those in. So with that, we're returning back here to Johnson Space Center for some more questions from the group. Anybody? Okay, I think we just hold for the microphone 1 second.
Hi, I'm Nyala Wright. I'm a publicist and event producer. And we didn't get an answer to the question about what the cosmonauts miss the most when they're on Earth.
On Earth?
I believe that was the question from the gentleman from Illinois. He asked what our veterans miss the most about being in space when they're on Earth.
So we'll address it here.
I thought that was a good one.
Что-то на Земле скучаешь?
About space when you're down here.
О чем скучаешь?
About weightlessness, you know. So that's flying. Yeah, that's great. And to be view from the windows again. That's probably is the best view I have seen.
It might be. Okay, any other questions from our visitors or media here in the room? Okay, we have another one.
Thanks. Tarek Malik again from space.com. I think I have just a follow-up for Mike. You mentioned your Twitter handle, the hashtag, and whatnot. We've seen many examples in the last couple of years of astronauts embracing social media in space. I'm wondering what your plans are going to be for that, how you'll continue your training meme when you get into space. Thank you.
Yeah, so I have to admit I'm new to the social media scene and to the Twitter scene, so I can credit NASA for getting me on board with that. And so what I've tried to do over the past 2.5 years of my training flow is to share some of the pictures and some of the events that I've experienced on a daily basis, and so I'd like to try and continue that once I get up on orbit. And I think you've already seen some of that, whether they're pictures of the Earth or whether they're pictures of some of the work that's going on inside. I'd like to try and continue and share that with people all around the world.
Okay, and I think we have a question here at the back.
Hi, I'm Kevin Charles with News 92 FM here in Houston. And it's as much a comment as it is a question, but I'd like your feelings on this. When we were going to the moon, however many years ago this week, Russians and the Americans were basically racing to see who could go the best in space, who could do the best job. Now here we are flying together. You're here in Houston training, and then we go back to Russia to fly. How does that make you feel now from both sides of the country, from both countries?
Well, I'll start off. The international aspects of this, as you're absolutely right, Apollo-Soyuz was going on, I think on these days, not how many years ago, I don't know the exact number, but so that was kind of the start of that cooperation, and I think it's grown, and the International Space Station is a testament to that cooperation, to that working together on an international scale, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. One of the joys of the past 2.5 years is the international aspect of it. You get to experience and see and learn from your international colleagues, your Russian colleagues, but also from Europe, from Japan, from Canada. It's all just been a wonderful piece of it, and I think that's what's allowed us to accomplish what we have with the International Space Station, and I think that's what's going to allow us to go beyond low Earth orbit someday.
Okay. Any other questions?
Do you want to add anything?
I'm just I'd like to add a couple words about that. You know, that's I think current step of interaction between two countries is a good example how to improve mankind flight in space. Because before, as you mentioned, it was racing. Now it's a different kind of racing because we work together, but we're still racing between us to do our job better. And that's, again, it's very important. But our interaction, our experience to work together, fly together, is very important for both countries. Thank you.
Okay. Other questions here from the room? We've got some more time. Okay. Just one moment.
What are you most excited about on this next expedition?
So I think for me, as a first-time flyer, the thing I'm most excited about is actually getting there and being there. Like I mentioned earlier, it's hard for me to imagine, so I'm very excited about waking up one morning and realizing, holy smokes, I'm in space.
Okay, I think we have another question up here in front.
My name is Anna Fulbright, and I'm just a lifetime NASA lover. I grew up in Houston, and first thing when I got to NASA, I noticed the history is so rich and diverse here. What do each of you hope that your place in NASA history will be?
It depends on our results of our flight.
No, I think we're just a small piece of NASA, as you mentioned. It's already obviously both here and in Russia. There's a lot of history, a lot of rich history, a lot of people that have contributed to that. And so if we're able just to add a little bit to it, and I think most importantly have a safe mission and a successful mission, I think I'll certainly feel satisfied, and I suspect my crewmates will as well.
I think we have a question in the back.
Hi, I'm Carrie Feibel, Houston Public Radio. Can you be a little bit more specific about how the workout along with you is going to work? Are you going to do a daily workout that people can copy move for move on the web, or is it going to be a journal entry, or how is it going to work that you would get people involved?
So I'll answer a piece of that, and I'm going to actually let Nicole answer a little bit of that as well. So as far as working out, and I think we mentioned it earlier, is we do that every day on station. We have about 2 hours a day that's dedicated to working out, whether it's lifting weights or running on the treadmill or riding that bike, and that's because of these negative impacts that we mentioned earlier from the bone loss, the muscle loss, and just the conditioning. And so we have a team here on the ground, fitness experts that put together a program for us on all of those pieces of hardware, and so we try to follow those. Sometimes they get a little tough, and you have to scale back, which I think most of you that do work out know that some days are better than others, and you're not able to achieve all that. But what I'm hoping to do is actually not necessarily every day, but some days be able to videotape my workouts and share those on the web. What I'd also like to see is the posting of my workouts so people can follow along. What's Mike doing today on station? Is he doing squats? Is he running on the treadmill? Is he on that Cevis, the exercise bike? But I'm going to turn it over to Nicole, and she may be able to give a little bit more of those details on where you can find information for that.
Sure. So the Train Like an Astronaut Facebook page is going to be the primary platform for everything. You should start seeing it today already with an introductory video from Mike, which is just the tip of the iceberg. But as he mentioned, at least weekly we'll be posting some fresh things, either from Mike or even his trainers or the Space Food Lab experts talking about the nutrition. So all those types of nuggets and behind-the-scenes tidbits will be on there. All the way through his mission, and even most importantly, once he's landed and returned, which is actually when some of the most critical rehab and strength and conditioning happens. So we're going to carry it all the way through. The best way is for people to like that Train Like an Astronaut Facebook page. Like he said, we're encouraging people to commit and post their own workouts and kind of share that, to join that fitness community, and you can also follow his Twitter account as well for updates. So go ahead. Okay. And let's see, I think we have one up here in front. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Joy Sewing. I'm with the Houston Chronicle. And I want to ask about how much part of stretching is a part of your routine. You talked about the treadmill and weights and everything, but stretching.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm finding stretching is becoming more part of my routine as I'm getting older. It used to be that I could just go out and exercise, and even after the workout, just go take a shower and go on. But I'm finding that as I've gotten older, that the muscles, the body's behaving a little bit differently. I need that extra time to stretch out, and so I probably spend 15 minutes in the mornings stretching before I do any of my workouts. And then also one of the ones that miss the most is that after workout stretch, which is also critical. But oftentimes I know we're in a hurry, we need to get to a meeting or we need to get to a class, and we skip that and need to try and not do that. So on station, I'm not quite sure how I'll be able to stretch up there. Obviously, without the gravity and floating around, there's going to be some issues probably with that, and I'm going to have to sort that out.
Okay, I think we had another one right here in the center.
And talking about sports, can you tell us what role you're going to play in bringing the Olympic torch into orbit and back? And how you will be involved in doing that?
Yes, okay. The story about Olympic torch is part of our mission, but the next crew is supposed to bring it up to the station, and me and Sergey, we're going to take it with us out from this station to outer space to take the Olympic torch with us during our first EVA, and taking a few pictures and video and downlink them to the ground. So maybe we'll have some activity in station, also with Olympic torch. So that's our plans.
And just to add to that, so the next crew will bring it up, and then an interesting part of this is during that period we're actually going to have 9 crew members on board the station. So Fyodor, Luka, and Karen are actually going to stick around, or actually Rick Koichi and Mikhail are moving up their launch so that they can be there with Fyodor, Luka, and Karen. And once I think it's about 5 days that we'll be all together, and then they'll bring the torch back. So it'll be up there for about 5 days or so with us.
Hi, I had a question about what you guys did as kids that prepared you to become astronauts and cosmonauts, and how this next generation, what they should be doing in order to become one. And also wanted to find out, do you guys take anything special up into space with you to remind you of Earth?
So I guess I'll start off. The first part is my definition of kids is changing as I've gotten older too. It seems like when I was 20, kids was a teenager, and now as I'm 40, I'd say a 20-year-old's still a kid. So what I did as a kid, obviously I was very involved in sports athletics as well as school, and all of those things have helped get me to this point today. I think probably the most important part is, though, in all of those things I was very passionate about. I was very excited about doing those things, and finding something that you love to do has been a part of that as I've grown up, and that's probably one of the big contributors for getting here.
I agree with Mike that sports from my childhood, of course my both parents are professional sport people. So with my sister, we were growing up between competitions, visiting different countries, and our parents were taking kids with them. So sport a lot, but also studying. Studying for little kids, especially for kids that was dreaming about science, was really important. So I was always participating in different biological, biochemistry, kids activities that we had in schools. So that was a respect and will to do science. So that was maybe the most important things that helped. What about what we will bring with us? I don't know. We all are planning to take photos of our families. It's hard to take your favorite cat with you, but you can take your favorite photo of it. So.
What important thing I brought from my childhood probably is to meet all new things, world with open eyes and open mind. So I try to keep the same approach to everything. And I'm going to take our mascot. That's a black cat. It's supposed to fly third time into the space, and it named by my kids Dimler. It's from Dima and Lera, the names of my children. So that's what I'll have up there with me the whole flight.
Yeah, and actually, I'll just add to that. So if you do watch the launch and you get those images inside the Soyuz, that's what you'll see hanging down there. And that's once we get up into space and in the microgravity environment, that gives us an indication as well that we're there.
Officially, it named indicator of weightlessness.
Yeah. Yes. Also, why it is cat? Because Oleg's last name, Kotov, Kot is cat in Russian.
Okay, with that, we're going to have to wrap it up. Thank you so much for everybody for joining us, all the great questions. And again, you can find more information about this crew on our website at www.nasa.gov/station. And of course, follow them on Twitter and Facebook. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Great job. Fantastic.